The alarm bells rang loud across Luna Defense Station. Captain Jake Morrison ran down the metal hallway, his boots making heavy sounds on the floor. He had been sleeping when the emergency call came. Now he was wide awake and scared. Jake reached the main control room where his team was working fast at their computers. The big screens showed something that made his heart beat faster. There was a huge ship floating near the edge of their solar system. It was bigger than anything humans had ever built. "Sir, we got a message," said Lieutenant Amy Clark. Her voice was shaking. "It came from that ship out there." Jake looked at the screen. The alien ship was dark and covered with sharp points. It looked like a weapon made to kill. He had never seen anything so scary in his 20 years as a soldier. "Play the message," Jake said. The room went quiet. Then a voice spoke. It was cold and had no feeling in it. The words came through their computers after being changed from alien language to English. "Primitive species of the third planet. You have 72 of your time units to surrender without conditions. Do what we say or face death. The Galactic Dominion does not make deals." The message ended. Jake's team looked at him with fear in their eyes. Everyone knew what this meant. Aliens had found Earth, and they wanted humans to give up or die. "How many ships are out there?" Jake asked. "We count at least 50, sir," said Sergeant Tone Davis. "But there might be more hiding behind the big one." Jake felt sick. 50 alien ships against Earth's small space fleet. It was not a fair fight. Humans had only a few ships in space. Most were for science, not war. On the alien ship, Supreme Admiral Zexthara stood on his command deck. He was 8 feet tall with green skin and sharp teeth. His people, the Vorthok, had taken over many worlds. Earth would be easy. "How long? Until they surrender?" asked his second officer. "They always give up," Zexthara said. "We have done this 3,000 times. Fear makes them weak." But Zexthara did not know humans very well. Back on Earth, people ran in the streets. The alien message had been sent to every country at the same time. TV news showed the same scary pictures. Everywhere. The President of the United States, Lisa Crawford, called for an emergency meeting in the White House. President Crawford sat with her top people. General Alex Barnes, the head of the military, looked angry. Secretary of State Maria Santos looked worried. "We need to talk to them," Maria said. "Maybe we can make a deal?" "Deal?" General Barnes hit the table with his hand. "They said no deals. We need to fight." "Fight with what?" Maria asked. "They have 50 ships. We have maybe 10, and most are not made for war." Dr. Sam Parker, a scientist who studied space, looked at his computer. "I have been checking their message," he said. "Their technology is very advanced, but maybe not impossible to fight." President Crawford felt the weight of the whole world on her shoulders. Every person on Earth was counting on her to make the right choice. But what was the right choice when aliens wanted to kill everyone? "How long do we have?" she asked. 72 hours, General Barnes said. 3 days to save the human race. The president looked out the window at the city. People were leaving Washington, D.C. in cars and trucks. They were scared and running away. But where could they go? If the aliens wanted to destroy Earth, nowhere would be safe. Back on Luna Station, Jake Morrison made a choice that would change everything. He did not wait for orders from Earth. He did not ask permission from his bosses. He looked at the alien message on his screen and got angry. Jake had been a Navy SEAL before working in space. He had fought in wars on Earth. He knew what it meant to face an enemy that wanted to kill you. The answer was always the same. "You fight back, Lieutenant Clark," Jake said. "Open a channel to that alien ship." "Sir, what are you going to do?" Jake sat down at the communication station. His fingers moved over the keyboard. He wrote a message that was short and simple. It said everything that humans felt about the alien demand. "Sir, are you sure about this?" Amy asked. Jake looked at his message one more time. 5 words that would speak for all of humanity. 5 words that would tell the aliens what humans thought about giving up. "Send it," Jake said. The message flew through space toward the alien fleet. On the command ship, Zexthara's communication officer received it. He looked confused. "Admiral, we got a reply from the humans." "Good," Zexthara said. "They surrender?" The officer looked at the message again. It was not what he expected. "No, sir. The message says, no. Come and take it." Zexthara stared at the screen. In 800 years of conquest, no species had ever sent a message like this. They always begged. They always tried to make deals. They always gave up. But humans had said no. The war for Earth was about to begin. Supreme Admiral Zexthara read the human message again. "No. Come and take it." 5 simple words that made no sense to him. In his long life, he had seen thousands of species surrender. They all said the same things. They begged for mercy. They offered to be slaves. They promised gold and resources, but never had anyone said no. "Commander Rickstall," Zexthara called to his tactical officer, "check this message. Are you sure it came from the planet?" Rickstall looked at his instruments. "No, Admiral. It came from their moon. They have a military base there." This news made Zexthara think. Most primitive species could not even leave their home planet, but humans had bases on their moon. They might be more advanced than the first scans showed. "Run a deep scan of their system," Zexthara ordered. On Earth, Jake Morrison was in big trouble. General Barnes had called him on the secure line. The general was very angry. "Morrison, what did you do?" Barnes shouted through the communication system. "You just started a war." Jake stood straight like a soldier. "Sir, they already started. The war when they threatened to kill everyone on Earth. You had no right to answer for all of humanity." "With respect, sir, someone had to answer. And I said what every human is thinking." General Barnes was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke in a cold voice. "You are relieved of command. Return to Earth immediately." The connection ended. Jake's team looked at him with worried faces. Lieutenant Amy Clark stepped forward. "Sir, what do we do now?" Before Jake could answer, another voice spoke. "We keep fighting." Commander Sarah Blake walked into the control room. She was Jake's former partner and one of the best military minds in the space program. "Sarah, I've been relieved of command." Jake said, "I know. I heard the transmission. But I also know something else." Sarah smiled. "Project Prometheus is active." Jake's eyes went wide. Project Prometheus was a secret military plan. Only a few people knew about it. The plan was to turn Earth's space installations into weapons if aliens ever attacked. "How many systems are online?" Jake asked. "All of them," Sarah said. "Every satellite, every space station, every mining platform. Dr. Rachel Kim's team has been working for months to connect them all." On Earth, Dr. Kim was in her laboratory under a mountain in Colorado. She was a small woman with short black hair and very smart eyes. Around her, dozens of scientists worked on computers and strange machines. "Doctor, the Luna Station signal." "Activated all our systems," said her assistant, Dr. Peter Wong. Rachel looked at the big screen that showed the whole solar system. Green dots marked every human installation in space. There were hundreds of them. "Perfect," Rachel said. "The aliens think we are primitive. Let them keep thinking that." Meanwhile, Colonel Mike Torres was on Ceres Station in the asteroid belt. Mike was an expert in guerrilla warfare. He knew how to fight enemies that were bigger and stronger. "Boys, we just got the word. Mike told his team of miners and engineers. Those alien ships think we're just digging rocks out here. Time to show them what we really do. The mining equipment on Ceres began to change. Drilling machines became missile launchers. Ore processors became weapon factories. In just a few hours, the peaceful mining station became a hidden military base. Back on the alien command ship, the deep scans were showing disturbing results. Commander Rickstall studied the data with growing concern. "Admiral, these humans are more advanced than we thought. They have installations throughout their solar system." "How many?" Zexthara asked. "Over 500 confirmed. Most appear to be mining or research facilities." Zexthara felt something he had not felt in many years: uncertainty. "What about their military?" "Hard to tell, sir. Their technology is different from ours. Simpler in some ways, but creative." On Earth, President Crawford was in an emergency meeting with world leaders through video connections. The President of Russia, the Prime Minister of China, and leaders from every major country were on the screens. The man on Luna Station spoke. "For all of us," said the British Prime Minister, "we cannot surrender to these aliens. But can we win?" asked the German Chancellor. General Barnes, despite being angry at Jake Morrison, had to admit something. Morrison's response might have been the right move. If we had tried to surrender, they might have killed us anyway. At least now we're fighting back. Dr. Sam Parker had more news. "I've been studying their technology from the message transmission. Their ships are powerful, but they seem to follow very rigid patterns. They might not be ready for unconventional warfare." The president made a decision that would unite all of humanity. "Send a message to every military base, every space installation, every ship we have. Tell them we're at war. Tell them to prepare for battle." In space near Jupiter, something was happening that the aliens did not expect. Commander Lisa Hunt was leading a group of mining ships toward the gas giant. Lisa was a former Air Force pilot who now worked for a space mining company. "All ships, remember the plan," Lisa said into her radio. "We look like civilian miners until the last second." Her ships were hiding behind Jupiter's moons. They looked like ordinary mining vessels, but Dr. Kim's team had secretly installed weapons on them months ago. As part of Project Prometheus, the alien scout ships were coming closer to Jupiter. They wanted to scan the planet and look for human military bases. They did not know that the humans were already watching them. "Contact in 10 minutes, Lisa's radar operator said. Lisa felt her heart beating fast. She had flown fighter jets in. Wars on Earth, but this was different. This was humanity's first space battle. On the alien scout ship, War Commander Vector was bored. Scanning empty planets was not exciting work. His ship was one of 12 moving toward the giant planet. "Any signs of military activity?" Vector asked. "No, sir. Just some mining ships. Typical primitive industry." Vector did not know that those mining ships were waiting for him. Back on Earth, people everywhere were watching the news. The TV showed pictures of the alien fleet at the edge of the solar system. But something strange was happening. Instead of panic, people were getting angry. In New York, a man named Tony Davis was watching the news in his engineering workshop. Tony built spaceships for private companies. He looked at his workers and said, "Boys, change of plans. We're not building passenger ships anymore. We're building warships." All over Earth, the same thing was happening. Factories stopped making civilian goods and started making weapons. Engineers designed new types of spacecraft. Scientists worked on better armor and shields. Dr. Emma Rodriguez was in her laboratory in Texas. She was an expert on alien technology. Even though humans had never met aliens before, Emma had spent years thinking about what their technology might be like. "If I'm right about their energy systems," Emma told her team, We might be able to build something that can hurt them. The alien fleet at the edge of the solar system received another message from Earth, but this time it was not from Jake Morrison. It came from President Crawford herself. To the Galactic Dominion, the President said, "You asked us to surrender. Our answer is no. You threatened to destroy us. But you made a mistake. You gave us time to prepare. 72 hours is more than enough time for humans to get ready for war. We suggest you leave now, while you still can." Zexthara could not believe what he was hearing. This primitive species was threatening him? It was impossible. But as he looked at the scan reports coming in from his ships, he began to wonder if these humans might be more dangerous than any species he had ever faced. The countdown to war had begun. War Commander Vector's ship moved closer to Jupiter. He wanted to show these humans what happened to species that said no to the Galactic Dominion. His plan was simple: destroy one of Jupiter's moons to scare the humans into surrender. Target the small moon, Vector ordered. Charge the planet cracker weapon. His ship's main gun began to glow with deadly energy. This weapon could break apart whole planets. A small moon would be easy to destroy, but Commander Lisa Hunt was ready for them. "All ships, they're charging weapons," Lisa said into her radio. "Time to introduce ourselves." 20 mining ships suddenly appeared from behind Jupiter's moons. They had been hiding in the shadows, waiting for the aliens to come close enough. "What are those?" Vector's tactical officer asked. "Just mining ships," another alien said. "No weapons detected." That was their first mistake. The human ships looked like miners because they were miners. But Tony Davis and his team had been very busy. Hidden inside each ship were missile launchers and plasma cannons. Fire! Lisa shouted. 20 human ships opened fire at the same time. Missiles and energy beams hit the alien scouts. The aliens were not ready for this. They thought humans were primitive and defenseless. Vector's ship shook as missiles hit its hull. "Impossible. They have no military technology." "Sir, we're taking heavy damage," his tactical officer reported. "These weapons are crude but effective." The human ships moved in ways the aliens did not expect. Instead of staying in formation like proper warships, they scattered and attacked from all directions. It was chaos, but it was controlled chaos. Lisa's ship, the New Texas, flew directly at Vector's command vessel. "Ram them if we have to," she told her crew, but they did not need to ram anyone. Dr. Emma Rodriguez's new weapons worked perfectly. The plasma cannons cut through alien armor like hot knives through butter. Vector watched in horror as 3 of his scout ships exploded. In 800 years of Dominion conquest, no primitive species had ever destroyed their ships in the first battle. "Retreat," Vector ordered. "Fall back to the main fleet." But only half of his ships were able to escape. The humans had won their first space battle. On Earth, people cheered as they watched the news. The TV showed alien ships burning near Jupiter. Humanity had fought back and won. In the White House, President Crawford felt hope for the first time. In days, General Barnes was smiling as he read the battle reports. 12 alien ships destroyed, Barnes said. Only 2 human ships lost. How is that possible? The president asked. Dr. Sam Parker had the answer. The aliens fight like a big army, everything organized and planned. But our people fought like pirates and rebels. The aliens were not ready for that kind of fighting. Meanwhile, Supreme Admiral Zexthara was very angry. War Commander Vector stood before him, trying to explain what happened. "They were supposed to be primitive," Zexthara shouted. "How did they destroy half your fleet?" "Admiral, these humans fight differently than any species we have faced. They use civilian ships as weapons. They attack from all directions. They show no fear of death. Zexthara had heard enough. I am sending the Annihilation Fleet. We will destroy their entire system. On Ceres Station, Colonel Mike Torres smiled as he read the battle report. His guerrilla warfare training was about to become very useful. Listen up, people, Mike told his team. We just proved that humans can fight these aliens. Now we need to prove we can win a war. Mike's people had been very busy. The asteroid belt was full of human mining stations, and each one was now a hidden weapons platform. The aliens would have to fly through the belt to reach Earth. Mike intended to make that journey very painful. Dr. Rachel Kim was working on something even more ambitious. In her secret laboratory, she was building a weapon that could change the whole war. Doctor, are you sure this will work? Asked Dr. Peter Wong. Rachel looked at her calculations. The theory is sound. If we can link all our installations through quantum communication, we can coordinate attacks across the entire solar system instantly. This was something the aliens had never seen. Most species fought with single planets or small fleets. But humans were turning their entire solar system into one giant weapon. Back on Luna Station, Jake Morrison was still in command despite being officially relieved. His team refused to leave, and Commander Sarah Blake supported him. Sir, we're getting reports from all over the system, Lieutenant Amy Clark said. Every human installation is armed and ready. Jake looked at the tactical display. Green dots showed human positions from Mercury to Neptune. The aliens thought they were attacking one primitive planet. Instead, they were about to fight an entire solar system full of angry humans. How many people do we have in space? Jake asked. Over 50,000 on various installations, Sarah answered. Miners, scientists, engineers, and now soldiers. The alien fleet was growing larger. More ships arrived every hour. Soon there would be thousands of alien vessels at the edge of the solar system. But something else was happening that the aliens did not know about. Dr. Emma Rodriguez had made a breakthrough in her research. I figured out how their shields work, Emma told her team. They're very strong against energy weapons, but they have a weakness. What kind of weakness? Her assistant asked. Emma smiled. They've never seen kinetic weapons like ours. Their shields stop lasers and plasma, but they're not designed to stop old-fashioned missiles and bullets. This news spread quickly through the human defense network. Every human ship and station began loading up with kinetic weapons, missiles, railguns, and even simple machine guns that fired metal bullets very fast. The aliens were about to learn that sometimes old technology worked better than new technology. On the Dominion command ship, the tactical computers were trying to understand human strategy. But the computers could not figure it out because humans were not following any strategy the Dominion knew. Admiral, Commander Rickstall reported, our computers cannot predict human behavior. They seem to make decisions based on emotion rather than logic. Emotion? Zexthara was confused. How can emotion be a military strategy? Rickstall did not know how to answer. In his experience, scared species always ran away or surrendered. But humans seemed to get more dangerous when they were scared. The news of the Jupiter battle had reached other parts of the galaxy. On dozens of worlds conquered by the Dominion, enslaved species heard whispers of a small planet that had fought back and won. On the water world of Kepler 442b, the enslaved Zorathi people began to whisper among themselves. If the humans can fight them, maybe we can too. The rebellion was spreading, even though the war had just begun. War Commander Vector was given a new mission. Take 200 ships and destroy their moon base, Zexthara ordered. Show these humans what happens when they resist the Dominion. But as Vector's fleet moved toward Earth's moon, they were flying into the biggest trap humans had ever built. Jake Morrison and his team were waiting for them. Let them come, Jake said as he watched the alien ships approach. Time to show them what humans do to bullies. The real war was about to begin. News of the human victory at Jupiter spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. On the industrial world of Kepler 442b, Zorathy workers stopped their machines in the middle of their shifts. They had been slaves to the Dominion for 300 years, but now they heard something impossible. Someone had defeated Dominion ships. "Is it true?" asked Zorathy, an old worker who had never known freedom. Did the humans really destroy their warships? 12 ships, whispered another Zorathy. Gone, destroyed by a species that the Dominion said was primitive. For the first time in centuries, the Zorathy began to hope. The same thing was happening on other worlds. The aquatic hydrants of Proxima Centauri b swam in excited circles, passing the news through their underwater cities. Even the proud Centauri, who had fought the longest before surrendering, began to remember what resistance felt like. Supreme Admiral Zexthara was getting angry reports from governors across the galaxy. Work was slowing down. Slaves were whispering. Some were even sabotaging equipment. One small battle, Zexthara growled, and the whole galaxy thinks they can rebel. He made a decision that would change everything. Deploy the Annihilation Fleet. All of it. Commander Rickstall was shocked. Sir, that's 10,000 ships. We've never needed that many for one species. These humans are spreading dangerous ideas, Zexthara said. We must destroy them completely. No survivors. No planet left. Nothing that can inspire others to rebel. The Annihilation Fleet was the Dominion's ultimate weapon. It had destroyed entire star systems. Its commander, Death Admiral Crexmore, was known for his cruelty. He believed that fear was the only way to rule the galaxy. On Earth, the brief victory had changed everything. Countries that had been enemies for decades now worked together. President Crawford announced that all nations would share their military technology. We are not Americans or Chinese or Europeans today, the president said on TV. We are humans, and humans fight together. In his workshop in Detroit, Tony Davis was working 20 hours a day to build new spaceships. His factory had become a military production center. Workers who used to make cars now built missiles and armor plates. How many ships can we have ready in a week? Tony asked his foreman. If we work nonstop, maybe 50, the foreman replied. Make it 100, Tony said. Those aliens won't give us a second chance. Dr. Rachel Kim had finished her quantum communication system. Now every human installation in the solar system could talk to each other instantly. This meant they could coordinate attacks across billions of miles in real time. Testing connection to Ceres Station, Rachel said into her headset. Colonel Mike Torrey's voice came through clearly from the asteroid belt. Loud and clear, Doc. This is amazing. It's like having a telephone that works across the whole solar system. More than that, Rachel said. It means we can fight as one unified force instead of separate groups. Meanwhile, Major Kate Wilson was training the first Terran Space Marines on a secret base in Antarctica. These soldiers were volunteers from every country's military. They were the best of the best, trained to fight in zero gravity and in the vacuum of space. Remember, Kate told her Marines, these aliens are bigger and stronger than us. They have better technology. But they've never fought humans before. We're going to show them why that's a mistake. The Marines practiced fighting in spacesuits, using weapons designed by Dr. Emma Rodriguez. The weapons were simple but deadly, kinetic rifles that could punch through alien armor. On Luna Station, Jake Morrison was still in command despite official orders. His team had grown from 12 people to over 500. Engineers, soldiers, and scientists from Earth had volunteered to join the moon-based defense. Commander Sarah Blake brought him the latest intelligence report. Jake, the alien fleet is massive. Satellite telescopes show at least 10,000 ships coming our way. Jake looked at the numbers and whistled. That's a lot of angry aliens. Are you worried? Sarah asked. Jake smiled. Worried? No. Excited? Yes. We've got something they don't expect. What's that? We've got nothing to lose and everything to fight for. Dr. Emma Rodriguez had been working on her most ambitious project yet. She called it Operation Wildfire, and it was based on a crazy idea that might just work. Emma, this is insane, said her assistant, Dr. Mark Johnson. You want to weaponize the sun? Not weaponize, Emma corrected. Direct. Solar flares happen naturally. I just want to aim them. The science was complex, but the idea was simple. By placing special satellites near the sun, humans could trigger solar flares and direct them at enemy ships. It would be the biggest weapon ever built. Back on the Dominion command ship, Death Admiral Crexmore had arrived to take command of the attack. He was even bigger than Zexthara, with scars covering his green skin. He had never lost a battle. Show me these humans, Crexmore demanded. The tactical display showed the solar system. Human installations were marked in red. There were hundreds of them. They have spread throughout their star system, Rickstall reported. Every planet, every moon, every asteroid cluster has human presence. Crexmore studied the display. Interesting. Most species cluster around their home world. These humans have colonized their entire system. Does that change our strategy? Zexthara asked. Yes, Crexmore said. It makes them more dangerous, but also more vulnerable. We will destroy every human installation, one by one. Leave nothing alive. On Mars, the human colony was preparing for siege. The colony had 5,000 people, mostly scientists and engineers. But now they were all soldiers. Colony Commander Steve Roberts looked at his defense plans. We've got mining equipment converted to weapons, underground bunkers, and enough supplies for 6 months. Think that will be enough? Asked his second-in-command. It has to be, Steve said, because if Mars falls, Earth is next. The Dominion fleet began to move into the solar system. But as they approached, they discovered something that surprised them. The humans were not waiting passively to be attacked. Colonel Mike Torres had turned the asteroid belt into a maze of hidden weapons. As the alien ships flew through, human missiles launched from inside asteroids. Mining lasers, designed to cut rock, proved very effective at cutting alien ships. Admiral, a Dominion officer reported to Crexmore, we're taking fire from the asteroid field. They've weaponized their mining operations. How many ships have we lost? Crexmore asked. 37 so far, and we're only halfway through the belt. Crexmore was impressed despite himself. These humans were cleverer than any species he had fought. They had turned their entire solar system into a weapon, but he had 10,000 ships. He could afford to lose a few hundred as the Dominion fleet pushed. Through the asteroid belt, they were heading toward Earth. But they were also heading toward Jake Morrison's trap at Luna Station. Jake had been busy. The moon's surface was now covered with hidden missile launchers and railgun batteries. Dr. Kim's quantum communication system meant every weapon could fire at exactly the same time. This is it, Jake told his team. When those ships get close enough, we hit them with everything we've got. Lieutenant Amy Clark was monitoring the alien fleet's approach. Sir, they'll be in range in 6 hours. Jake nodded. Send a message to all human forces. Tell them the final battle is about to begin. But Jake had one more surprise for the aliens. Dr. Emma Rodriguez had finished Operation Wildfire. The solar weapon was ready to fire. Emma, please tell me this will work, Jake said over the communication system. It will work, Emma replied from her control center on Earth. The question is whether we'll survive using it. The Annihilation Fleet continued toward Earth, expecting an easy victory. Death Admiral Crexmore was confident that his overwhelming numbers would crush the human resistance quickly. He was about to learn that numbers meant nothing when facing a species that refused to give up. The battle for Earth was about to begin. Death Admiral Crexmore expected to find a broken solar system. His 10,000 ships had fought through the asteroid belt, losing 200 vessels to hidden weapons. He thought the humans would be scared now, ready to surrender. Instead, his sensors showed something impossible. Every human installation was still active. Every mining station, research base, and colony was broadcasting the same message. Come and take it. Admiral, his tactical officer reported, they're not retreating. They're moving toward us. Crexmore looked at the display in disbelief. Human ships were leaving their safe positions and flying directly at his massive fleet. It was suicide. It was madness. It was exactly what humans did when they were angry. Commander Lisa Hunt led the first wave of human ships. Her mining vessel, the New Texas, had been rebuilt with every weapon Tony Davis could fit on it. Behind her flew 200 other converted civilian ships. All ships, remember the plan, Lisa said over the radio. We're not trying to win a straight fight. We're buying time for the big surprise. The big surprise was Operation Wildfire. Dr. Emma Rodriguez sat in her control room on Earth, watching the solar satellites align perfectly with the sun. In a few minutes, she would fire the biggest weapon ever built. Solar flare in position, Emma announced, targeting the center of their fleet. On Luna Station, Jake Morrison watched the alien fleet approach. There were so many ships that they blocked out the stars. But Jake was not afraid. He was excited. All weapons ready, Jake announced to his team. Wait for my signal. The Dominion fleet moved closer to Earth. Death Admiral Crexmore wanted to show these humans what real power looked like. He ordered his ships to target Earth's moon. Destroy their base, Crexmore commanded. Show them what happens to species that resist us. 1,000 alien ships pointed their weapons at Luna Station. Their planet-cracking guns began to charge with deadly energy. That was when Jake Morrison sprung his trap. Now, Jake shouted. The surface of the moon erupted with weapons fire. Hidden missile launchers revealed themselves and fired thousands of rockets at once. Railgun batteries that had been disguised as research equipment opened fire with metal slugs moving at incredible speed. But the real surprise was what happened next. Firing solar weapon. Dr. Emma Rodriguez announced from Earth. The satellites near the sun triggered a massive solar flare. But instead of spreading out in all directions like normal, this flare was focused into a beam of pure energy. The beam raced across the solar system faster than anything the aliens had ever seen. The solar beam hit the center of the Dominion fleet like the hammer of an angry god. 50 alien ships simply vanished, vaporized by the power of Earth's own. Death Admiral Crexmore watched in horror as his flagship screens went white. When the light faded, 1/10 of his fleet was gone. Impossible, Crexmore screamed. They weaponized their star. Commander Rickstow was checking his instruments frantically. Admiral, that energy reading ... It's impossible. No species has ever built a weapon that powerful. But the humans were not finished. Colonel Mike Torres emerged from the asteroid belt. With his hidden fleet, mining ships and cargo vessels, all armed with kinetic weapons, attacked the alien fleet from behind. Major Kate Wilson led her space marines in boarding pods, small ships designed to punch through alien hulls and deliver soldiers directly into enemy vessels. The Marines fought hand-to-hand inside alien ships, using their training and determination to overcome superior alien strength. On Mars, Colony Commander Steve Roberts launched every ship he had. Even the civilian transports carried missiles now. The Mars fleet was small, but they fought with desperate courage. Throughout the solar system, every human installation joined the battle. Scientists became gunners. Miners became soldiers. Engineers became warriors. The Dominion fleet was being attacked from all directions at once. They had never faced anything like this coordinated assault. Death Admiral Crexmore tried to regroup his forces, but the humans kept surprising him. Just when he thought he understood their strategy, they would do something completely unexpected. "Admiral, more human ships approaching from Jupiter," his tactical officer reported. "How many?" Crexmore demanded. "All of them, sir. Every human ship in the system is converging on our position." This was the moment Jake Morrison had been planning for. Using Dr. Rachel Kim's quantum communication system, every human force in the solar system attacked at exactly the same time. The battle was chaos. Human ships darted between the massive alien vessels like angry wasps. They could not match the aliens' firepower, but they did not need to. They just needed to cause enough damage to prove a point, and the point was becoming very clear to the Dominion fleet. Humans did not know how to surrender. "Sir, we've lost 2,000 ships," Rickstahl reported to Crexmore. "The humans are using suicide tactics. They're ramming our vessels when they run out of missiles." Crexmore had seen many species fight desperately when cornered, but he had never seen anything like this. These humans fought as if they enjoyed it. On Luna Station, Jake Morrison received a priority communication from Earth. It was President Crawford herself. "Captain Morrison, I'm giving you command of all human forces in space. Stop these aliens, whatever it takes." Jake looked at his tactical display. The human fleet was taking heavy losses, but so were the aliens. More importantly, the aliens were starting to retreat. "All human ships, this is Morrison," Jake announced. "The aliens are pulling back. Press the attack." But Death Admiral Crexmore was not retreating. He was regrouping for one final assault. He pointed his remaining 8,000 ships directly at Earth. "If we cannot conquer them, we will destroy them," Crexmore declared. "Target their home planet. Earn it to ash." The alien fleet's planet-cracking weapons began to charge. In minutes, they would have enough power to destroy Earth completely. That was when Jake Morrison made the most important decision in human history. "All ships protect Earth," Jake ordered, "whatever the cost." Every human vessel moved between the alien fleet and Earth. Mining ships, research vessels, cargo haulers, and warships formed a wall of metal and determination that Dr. Emma Rodriguez had won. More solar flare ready, but she needed time to aim it properly. "Jake, I need 2 more minutes." Emma's voice crackled over the radio. "You've got it," Jake replied. The human fleet held their position as the aliens fired everything they had. Ship after ship was destroyed, but the survivors kept fighting. They bought Emma the time she needed. Firing. Emma announced that the second solar flare was even bigger than the first. It carved through the alien fleet like a sword of pure light. Death Admiral Crexmore's flagship was caught in the beam and destroyed instantly. The remaining alien ships stopped firing. Without their commander, they did not know what to do. That was when Jake Morrison sent his final message to the Dominion fleet. "Attention alien ships," Jake broadcast. "Your admiral is dead. Half your fleet is destroyed. You have 24 hours to leave our solar system. After that, we're coming for you." The message continued. "You made a mistake when you threatened Earth. You thought we were weak because we are small. You thought we would surrender because you are strong. But you did not understand the most important thing about humans." Jake paused, looking out at the burning alien ships. "Humans do not just fight to survive. We fight to win. And we are very, very good at winning." The alien fleet began to retreat. The surviving ships fled toward the edge of the solar system as fast as they could go. But the most important part of Jake's message was not heard by the retreating aliens. It was heard by listening posts throughout the galaxy, where enslaved species picked up the human transmission. Within hours, rebellions began on dozens of worlds. The Zorathi stopped their factory work and seized weapons. The Hydrans sabotaged. Underwater mining operations. Even the proud Centauri began planning their uprising. Supreme Admiral Zexthara, monitoring the battle from the edge of the system, made a decision that shocked the entire Dominion High Council. He ordered a full retreat from human space. "Sir, we still have enough ships to destroy their planet," Commander Rickstall protested. "At what cost?" Zexthara replied. "We could win this battle, but we would lose the war. The humans have already shown the galaxy that we can be defeated. If we destroy their world now, they become martyrs. Every species in the galaxy will see them as heroes who died fighting for freedom." Zexthara was right. The damage was already done. Across the galaxy, the news spread. A small species called humans had defeated the mighty Galactic Dominion. 3 months later, Jake Morrison sat in his office on Luna Station, reading reports from across the galaxy. 17 star systems were in open rebellion. The Dominion was fighting wars on dozens of fronts. A communication came in from an unknown source. The voice spoke broken English, but the message was clear. "Human friends, this is Zorthai of the Zorthi people. We heard your message. We are fighting now, like you taught us. Can you help us learn to win?" Jake smiled. "Put me through to President Crawford. I think we need to start building a bigger fleet." A Galactic Dominion had made the greatest mistake in their history. They had tried to conquer humanity. Instead, they had created something far more dangerous. They had given the galaxy hope. Captain Jake Morrison looked out at the stars and knew that the war was far from over. But for the first time in 800 years, the Dominion was losing. And it had all started with 5 simple